All right, everybody, we are live to talk about autism. We're going to be going live here for the next hour and a half or so to talk about autism. Maybe you're an autism parent and you're looking for support. Maybe you're curious if your child might have autism. Maybe you're autistic, or you think maybe you're autistic, or maybe you work with people with autism, or maybe you're just interested. Well, whatever applies to you, you're welcome here. We're excited to have you, and we're going to be talking about autism for the next little while here. We are just barely starting, you guys. Usually we get a couple hundred people in here at a time, and so if you have any questions right now, go ahead and be putting it in the chat so that we can I can be answering your question now before it gets too full. I know there's a lot of questions out there, a lot of wondering what autism is. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Happy Monday to you all. I'm on a little bit later than normal today. Usually I go live at around noon Eastern time, and I'm an hour and 45 minutes late. I had some meetings that interfered, and it just work kept popping up, and it made it harder and harder to get on here, but I can't miss a day. And so I love being on here. Go ahead and be tapping on that screen. It lets TikTok know to send it out to more people. And then as you're coming in, let me know where you're from, you guys. Are you from Utah? I'm from Utah. Hey, thank you, Peculiar Butterfly. Go ahead, put in the chat, you guys. Where are you from? What state are you in? Or if you're not in the U.S., what country are you from? I want to know where everyone is. Denver, Colorado. I love Denver. Denver's great. Jill says, my child is 6 years old, autism level 3, nonverbal, and we're having a hard time taking her out. Oh my goodness. You guys, I really feel for families with kids with autism. That's where I'm at. I have 2 children diagnosed with autism, and we're at the point now where I cannot be out in public with both of my children at the same time and keep them safe unless there's another adult there. That's a hard place to be, you guys. Today we're having to rearrange our schedules because of, one of my older sons has soccer practice, and I can't be there and take both of my kids with autism there and have my wife go to an appointment that she has to go to. All right, you guys, where are you all from? Go ahead and put it in the chat, you guys. We got California, we got Wyoming. Oh my goodness, my wife says that she's from hell. I don't believe you, Brooklyn. You guys, that is my wife on here. She likes to give me a hard time sometimes. Bakersfield, California, North Central West Virginia. Okay, very cool. Rhode Island. Anyone here from Utah? I'm from Utah, you guys. A little bit about myself and what I do here is I am from Utah, and I'm an autism dad. So I have 4 kids, 2 of which, my youngest 2, are diagnosed with autism. Oh, Amsterdam, Texas, Maryland, DC, England, Arizona. We got people from all over the place. So I have 2 children diagnosed with autism. I'm also a board certified behavior analyst, so I work with people on the spectrum every day. I'm also the CEO of a company that serves people with autism. And my favorite part of my day is to go live. I think I'm right around 100 days in a row of going live. I haven't missed a single day, not even Sundays. So if you're new here, be sure you follow. We talk all about autism, you guys. And I am not the kind of creator that just says things in a way that makes everyone happy. And I hope you know about that. You'll get nothing but immense support from me, but I will share the things that we know about autism, the things we don't know, and I will dispel misinformation. And sometimes people don't like that. I do have a few haters on here, which is kind of fun, but we deal with that. Sometimes I think people have autism without realizing it. Winnie Bear, you were spot on. There are so many people out there diagnosed or not diagnosed with autism, but who are autistic. Absolutely. Patricia says, I have a 4-year-old nephew with autism. Fetal neuronal stem cells has made a huge impact on him. Patricia, thank you for being an involved aunt. I do love that. I do not recommend stem cell therapy. It's expensive. The research that has been on it has not been consistently positive. And so it's not something widely recommended. They do have clinical trials in the US sometimes, but most of the time people go out of the country to get the stem cell therapy. It's not something that is typically recommended. Okay. My autism got a lot better as I got older. Yeah, guys, maturing and growth. People with autism, they do naturally mature and grow. Even without the supports and therapy, they can grow. And, sometimes things can get easier. Thank you for sharing that. Do you believe autism is always genetic? I believe autism is 80 to 90% genetic. In fact, that's not my opinion. That is just what is documented by the research studies that discuss it. Sheila says, if stem cell therapy doesn't harm someone and it's within their means, I say go for it. Here's a hard thing with that is, why do something that doesn't have solid evidence behind it? If you could take that 20 grand and the time that you're doing that and give your child, maybe a bigger home, maybe a fenced-in backyard, that may be a better use of your resources. Do you think vaccines cause autism? No, vaccines are not even correlated with autism. And that's a controversial statement right there. A lot of people say, oh, correlation is not causation. And yeah, that's true. But within science, there are degrees of scientific understanding, okay? And there's description, so you can describe something that happens. We can describe what autism is. And then there's prediction, and then there's control. So prediction is correlation. And so you can identify correlations, and that comes before identifying causes. And so when we've done the studies around vaccines and autism, dozens of studies have failed to demonstrate any meaningful correlation between autism and vaccines. And so we're not even ready to have a conversation about causation yet. There has never even been a correlation demonstrated in the research. Any recommendations for careers for people with high-functioning autism? Oh, here's an interesting one. I read a paper the other day that showed how fine kitchen chefs is the perfect career for people with autism. Like fine dining, right? And being a cook in a fine dining restaurant. And what they share about that is that a lot of people with autism, they love the consistency, the repetition, not being front and center with the customer. And there's some strengths of how a lot of people with autism function that would make them really good at being a fine dining cook. Kind of interesting idea. Construction as well. Yeah, I've heard car detailing. Yeah. Technology related. I love that. Okay, let's see. RFK said vaccines were linked to autism. So he said where the CDC stands now, based on the push that RFK Jr. has made, is they released a statement on their website. They changed the CDC website that for a long time said there's no evidence of correlation between vaccines and autism. And now it says you cannot say that vaccines do not cause autism. And what's crazy about that is you cannot prove a negative in science. You can't say anything doesn't cause autism. You can't say that wearing glasses doesn't cause autism. Now, why are we talking about vaccines then? There's no correlation about it. And so it's kind of silly that the CDC updated their website and some of the push there. So is developmental delay and autism? So they can be related, absolutely. So a lot of the developmental delay that you see, one of the most common diagnoses after a parent sees developmental delays is autism, but they're not always the same. There's other things that may be impacting development. Do you think alcoholism plays a part in autism? I haven't read any research to say that, and so I cannot say that that's something that is there. The parents have testified and shown tons of evidence that they do. That what do? Oh, the vaccines? Okay. So actually, we've studied this. So the regressions, right? People say, "Oh, my child regressed. My child regressed," and so now I look at what happened around the time that a child regressed, and I got to say, my daughter regressed. I am one of those parents that are at her age at around 14 months. My daughter regressed, and it was terrifying. I felt like I was losing my daughter. And I will address this vaccine thing. While I do, I'm curious who we have in here. Put 1 in the chat if you're an autism parent. Put 2 in the chat if you are autistic or suspected for any of these. And then put 3 in the chat if you're just here to learn, observe, you're a professional. Or if you're a grandparent or anything like that, just go ahead and put in the chat what you are. A lot of 1s, a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s, you guys. All right, so the question came up. If we can say that vaccines don't cause autism, what about all the parents who noticed regression around the same time that they were vaccinated? Well, we do know that in these anecdotes, people notice the regression and notice the neurodivergent traits after vaccinations. That does happen. But what the study does not support is that that's caused by vaccines. So there have been some interesting studies that have shown that that regression in autism happens, and that parents don't notice the neurodivergence that was there before the regression. And so what they do is they say, okay, who are the people who are most likely to be autistic? And I want to follow them throughout their life. And so they look for siblings of people who are already autistic, because if you have a child who's autistic, your next child has a 20% chance of also being autistic. So researchers have studied lots of these siblings to track these regressions. And the parents don't always notice the neurodivergence, but through study and analysis, when you go and then these kids and they regress, we have documented that the vast majority of the time they were clearly showing autistic traits before the regression. So parents, I'm not mad at parents who think that vaccines caused autism. I'm not mad at them. In fact, if I'm talking directly to a parent, it's not common that I correct them if they feel that. What they need is hug. They need a hug. They need love. They need support. Our brains are going to try to find answers, but the research does not support that it's vaccines that cause it. All right, you guys, 3 of my husband's 4 girls are autistic, and that's 2 different moms. Okay, so maybe it comes from your husband. We do know that it's 80 to 90% genetic. Okay, so who am I? Who is the guy in front of you to talk about autism and vaccines and causing people to disagree here? Well, let me tell you, I'm an autism dad, and autism has become a very important part of my life. I've worked with people who are autistic since 2013. I am a board certified behavior analyst, working with people with autism every day, doing ABA therapy. I'm the CEO of a company that provides services to people with autism, and I go live every single day for an hour and a half, talking about autism. Today I'm on a little bit later than normal. I had some meetings come up. I do love coming on here. Make sure that you're following. So if it says follow here, you're not following yet. You want to catch next time I'm live. Let's go ahead and answer some more questions, you guys. Oh, and by the way, as soon as we get to 20,000 likes, we go through the autism news of the day. And so tap on that screen. Let's get us to 20,000 likes, and then I will go through the autism news of the day. What do you think about genetically testing? Okay, so there's a few things with genetic testing. If you're diagnosed with autism, you're then given the opportunity to go through some genetic testing, okay? If you go through the genetic testing, that is absolutely a good thing to do. There are genetic conditions associated with autism that would be good to know if you have. Now, some of the genetic testing is not recommended. The MTHFR is one of those genetic tests that you don't need to worry about. The research has not been clear that it is tied to autism, and pediatricians and other medical doctors do not recommend that that's a standard next step of getting diagnosed. But genetic testing in general, as ordered by your doctor, is a good thing. Okay. I don't have paper that I am autistic. It costs $1,300, but I have low income. Medicaid should pay for it. If you're on Medicaid, you should be able to go and get a diagnosis. Okay, happy Monday, Caitlin. Good to see you on here. Guys, if I'm missing your question, by the way, I have hardly any viewers over on the YT platform. I can't say the name of it here out loud. But if you do go over there, I do read just about everything that goes on the screen in the chat over there. And so I'm going to try to get through the TikTok here, but I'm also live on the YT platform linked in my bio. How do you calm a young child with autism when there seems to be no answer? That is one of the hardest things, you guys. When you have an autistic child who can't communicate and you don't know why they're upset. It could be something as simple as they don't like the way something sounds or feels. But it could also be something like they have a cavity and a toothache. And if they can't communicate with you, then you just have to try everything. And my number one recommendation to parents going through this is be the calm one. Be the one that your child can co-regulate with. Be the one who, in a hectic moment, stays calm, positive, that they can regulate with you. What do you think about leucovorin, kids with severe autism level 3 specifically? Leucovorin is not a recommended treatment for autism. It is being researched right now for treating autism, and the research has been unclear on the effects. There's a lot of anecdotes of people excited about it. I personally am excited about leucovorin, though I'm not participating in a clinical trial, therefore I'm not using my children to try it out. And so I recommend if you're doing leucovorin, try it through a clinical trial is my recommendation. I don't yell at parents for doing it, but it's one of those things that has not been found to be effective yet. There have been 5 clinical trials done, randomized clinical trials, one of which was retracted, and that was the one that was most convincing. It was retracted because of poor data, inaccurate data. All right, you guys, what other questions do we have? Hey, I'm curious, who here is seeing me for the first time? Do we have people here just barely finding me? If you're new here, put FYP in the chat. I want to know. Are you new here? Put FYP. If I just came across your For You page today, put FYP in the chat. Oh my goodness, look at all these people. Well, let me introduce myself just a little bit. And I'll do this a few times, especially starting out so that you can get to know who I am. I am the biggest autism advocate that you will ever meet. I believe that autism is beautiful. I also believe autism has challenges. And I work every day to try to dispel misinformation. I am a behavior analyst. And so I work with people with autism on a daily basis. I've been doing this line of work for over a decade now. And I also run a company that supports people with autism. So I love being here. And so if I can convince you, if you're enjoying this, please hit the follow button so that you can find me next time. I have, okay, let's see. Does my son's autism have a relation to, oh man, the chat jumped. Let's see. Does my son's autism have a relation to do his lack of effort for everything he does? It's hard to measure effort. Right? Sometimes what appears to be a lack of effort comes from a place of dysregulation. We also know, if you are autistic or your child is autistic and you also have ADHD, put ADHD in the chat or ADHD in the chat. I want to know, because what you're describing right now, a lack of motivation for things, that can be very common with ADHD, because ADHD and autism co-occur 50% of the time. In other words, if your child is autistic, there's a 50% chance that they also have ADHD. Now, why does that matter? Well, it's because ADHD and autism are conflicting diagnoses, you guys. If you have ADHD, this question here of like, my child has a lack of effort for everything. Well, ADHD makes it so that what you want to spend your time doing is the thing that's most reinforcing in that moment. And it can be hard to start new tasks. You may jump around from thing to thing. It may be hard to even get out of bed and try to do something. And so ADHD and autism are complete opposite. ADHD wants novelty, newness, change. Autism wants sameness, routine. consistency, and that dysregulation can cause a lot of problems. We do have some comments coming in from the YT platform. Again, I do try to read those more often. Over on the YT platform, my sister has autism. She mostly just can't sleep. Just want to know if she needs to be occupied a lot. Goofy, let me tell you that sleep is one of the biggest challenges. One of the biggest challenges with autism is sleep. Guys, put sleep in the chat if the autistic person close to you, whether that's yourself or your child, struggles with sleep. Put sleep in the chat. Sleep is a problem. It's real. There is actually research out there that shows autistic children have a harder time falling into deep sleep. And you know that feeling with autism when the whole world feels so loud, where you're hearing everything, you're feeling everything simultaneously. Well, you'd think that sleep was the time that goes away. But our poor autistic friends, quite often, that loudness of the world doesn't silence at night, which can cause them to struggle with sleep. So a lot of our children require medication or supplements. There can be naturalistic approaches here to promote sleep. There can also be medications that talk to your pediatrician about. Okay, but Goofy, thank you for being a wonderful sibling, an autism sibling. I love autism siblings. Why are finding resources and supports hard to find for some families over on the YT platform? Aaron, it is because the world is not built for autistic people. There's not enough resources out there and not enough people supporting people with autism. That's why. It's very hard for me to find food I consistently will eat. I also struggle with sleep. Yeah. Eating is a big part of this. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back over to the TikTok chat here. Over on TikTok, what can help with sleep? Okay, guys, what you're going to want to do with sleep, if you have a child on the spectrum, what you're going to want to do with sleep is first, you do need to talk to your pediatrician. You need to rule out medical causes. If your child's uncomfortable in pain, maybe they're constipated, that can impact sleep. But there are also behavioral approaches to supporting sleep. For example, what I do with my son, and you guys, please listen in. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. This is a practice that I have implemented with people that I work with, but also with my own children. I am a firm believer in these clocks that when it's time to sleep, the clock glows red or whatever color you choose. When it's time to wake up, we've always done red at night. Green means wake up. And we can teach during the day. It's like playing red light, green light. Okay, red light, get in bed. And so right now, my son with autism, he will stay in bed all night. But sometimes he wakes up in the night, or last night he stayed in bed and from 8 p.m. until midnight, and he didn't fall asleep until midnight. And so sometimes it goes beyond behavior. They're staying in bed. They're doing the things to make them fall asleep, but their body's not letting them silence the world out. And at that point, you need to talk to your pediatrician about medication options or additional supplements. Okay, let's go ahead and continue answering questions on the YT platform. Evie says melatonin. Yep, melatonin's a big one for sure that can support. Magnesium, the pediatricians often recommend as well. And then the first medication step beyond just a supplement like magnesium, melatonin is usually clonidine. All right, you guys, welcome in. Oh, what about when people that don't have autism throw around the phrase, I'm overstimulated? Okay, guys, this is something important. Everybody can get overstimulated. That is not something protected or that only applies to autistic people. But I will say that being overstimulated is not the same thing as being a little autistic. If you're overstimulated, that doesn't mean you're autistic. I personally hate the phrase, I'm a little autistic, or I have a touch of the tism. Have you guys heard that? I don't like it. That's like saying I'm a little pregnant. Yeah, that's not how it works. You're not a little bit pregnant. Autism isn't measured by a little bit or a lot. It is a diagnosis that you meet the criteria of or you don't. And if you do meet that criteria, you don't ask, how autistic are you? That's not how it works. You're not a little autistic or a lot autistic. It is how much support do you need in each domain of how autism can impact your life. Telly, not funny, but you made me laugh. Hey, there we go. I like it. How do you know if you have autism? That's a good question, especially if you're an adult right now. If you were born but before the year 2011, you were likely missed being screened for autism. If you're over the age of 15 years old, you were likely missed being screened properly for autism. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that the diagnosis of autism changed in 2013. Before that, only those most profoundly impacted were diagnosed. And so a lot of you were, hey, good morning, Lexi. It's good to see you. A lot of you were missed. Today, we know 1 in 31 people are diagnosed. 1 in 31 people. And I think that number still has room to grow. I think it's still underdiagnosed because there's a lot of adults out here who, as we explain what autism may feel like for an adult, they say, hey, that kind of applies to how I feel about things. Over on the YT platform, let me go ahead and catch up a little bit. Another question I have, this is an autism sibling, you guys. Tell me what you think here on the YT platform, linked in my bio. I can't say the name of it. But she asks, another question I have is, do you think I should spend time with her with things she is interested in? Goofy, I'm going to be very honest with you here, Goofy. You're an autism sibling. And absolutely, you should spend time with your sibling doing things that they love. And I believe autism siblings are going to change the world. I think you, Goofy, are going to change the world. A lot of people see kids with autism and they judge them. They call them weird. They may bully them. But Goofy, you don't do that. In fact, I would dare say that you not only are protective over your sibling who's autistic, but when you're at school and you see another child who might be autistic and they're not being treated well, you stand up for them. You befriend them, not because they need your help, but because you genuinely like that person. That is why I believe autism siblings are going to change the world. My kids who are not on the spectrum are incredible. Autism parents, do not feel bad that you are giving more attention to your autistic child than your other children. Every child needs different level of support, and you are not depriving your neurotypical child of a childhood. In fact, you are creating and growing them and developing them and supporting them, these siblings, to become the best humans on the planet. All right, you guys. All right, back over to the TikTok chat. Lexi, I know. I feel bad about that, and I have to remind myself all the time that I'm giving my children an opportunity to become such incredible people. My dad called me autistic for separating my rice and peas because I don't like the taste. Hey, look, that is a common thing with autism, that they don't like food touching, but it's not exclusive to autism. Remember, you having one trait or a couple traits that overlap with autism does not make you autistic. And if you are autistic, that's not a bad thing. So if your dad said that as an insult, you need to tell him, so what? What if I am autistic? What would that mean? It's not an insult, you guys. Should I be worried that my son might be autistic? You should not be worried, but you should be aware. Amandine, if you're wondering if your child is autistic, let me talk to you about this. You need to address this as soon as you can. Autism is a lifelong thing. It's not something a child grows out of just because you avoid the label. You need to confront this head on, and you start by looking at autism screeners. And so linked to my bio is the MChat for toddlers that you can check and see if your child is low, moderate, or high risk for autism. I also have the RADS-14 linked to my bio, which is a screener for adults to see if you are low, moderate, or high risk for autism. Just know that these don't diagnose autism. These just simply give you a indication on how likely, an indication on if you should be assessed for autism. You need a psychologist to evaluate you. My son is nonverbal. Is it possible to potty train? Wow, what a good... Okay, that's my favorite question of the day so far. Is communication a prerequisite to potty training a child? There's actually research on this, you guys. I'm excited. Do you see how I kind of perked up with this question, you guys? Is there research that shows that communication is a prerequisite to potty train your child? And surprisingly, no, there's not. Communication does not consistently relate to whether or not your child is ready to toilet train. And so the number one indicator that your child is ready to toilet train is if they can consistently have a dry diaper for 1 to 2 hours. That means that they have some level of bladder control. And before that, it's not going to be biologically possible to toilet train. I also want to touch on this, that don't feel like you have to potty train your child. If they're autistic and you're not ready for it, there's no shame. There's no award out there for best parent because of potty training your child young. It's not a real award out there. You're making up societal expectations in your own mind. Do you agree with eliminating Asperger's? Well, it's more of putting it all on the same spectrum. So in 2013, what ended up happening is they got rid of 3 diagnoses and combined them into one. So they got rid of PDD, NOS, Asperger's, and autism, and put all 3 of those into autism spectrum disorder. And do I agree with that? Yeah, that was the right move. It's not perfect. There's going to be changes here in a few years, I'm sure, but it was a good move. All right, over on the YT platform. Okay, over on the YT platform, doctors and therapists are always saying my daughter is high functioning, but she was diagnosed at 3 with autism level 3. I don't understand. Well, you need to understand that, 2 things are happening here. The levels, that's a broken system. It is not implemented well because most toddlers, even if they're not autistic, have high support needs. And so, you get toddlers all the time who they say are level 3 or level 2, but it changes. Think of it this way. Imagine you step on a bathroom scale and it tells you that you weigh 150 pounds. I don't know if that's good or bad for you, but 150 pounds. You step off, and then you step back on and it says 180 pounds. And then you step off again, you say, what? I gained 30 pounds. You step on again, it says 120 pounds. That's what's happening right now with the doctors. You have one doctor who diagnosed your child level 3 and others who are indicating that they may need less support. And that's a problem with the levels, is that they are not a reliable metric. Every professional rates the levels differently. There's not a consistent scale. And so don't hold on to the identity of the level for you or your child. That's not part of your identity. It's not part of your child's identity. It is not going to indicate your child's potential in the future. It's simply your clinician's best guess at the level of support that your child needs in this moment of time, in this current location, which doesn't mean a whole lot. All right, back over to the YT platform. How do I help my patients with autism spectrum diagnosis at a caregiver level? Oh my goodness, what do you do as far as patients? Are you in the medical field? Here's what I wish the medical field was more prepared to help autistic people, because our kids end up in the ERs all the time. It seems like I'm going there every other month for something with one of my kids, and being able to support the child is a great skill that medical workers need to have. One of the first things is recognize that the chaos of an emergency room or a doctor's office can cause a lot of problems. And so making the environment calm and quiet, and even if you're in a rush, don't give off the impression that you're in a rush. We have all time, all day. We're going to talk in a neutral tone like this. We might dim the lights if it's sensitive for them, and we support them. All right. David says I slipped through the cracks. A lot of people did. A lot of people slipped through the cracks, you guys. Oh, we broke 20,000 likes, you guys. We're at 25,000 likes. It is time for the Autism News of the Day. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. While I do, I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves. Where do you live? Put the state that you live in, or the country. And I also want to know if you are an autism parent, which I know not all of you are, but how old is your child with autism? Oh, Alabama, Texas, New York, Illinois. I'll introduce myself a little bit. Hey, Charlene, good to see you. Okay, you got a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, 14, 38. I love that. Look at all these people in here. What a good group. A little bit about me is I'm a dad. I got 4 kids, 2 of which are diagnosed with autism. They're young. Autism, I never thought I'd be an autism dad, you guys. That was not in my future, I thought. I was an autism professional over a decade ago. I started in this world, and I'm a board certified behavior analyst. And only a year and a half ago, my son was first diagnosed with autism, and I joined this exciting world from the perspective of a parent. And I got to tell you something that I don't think professionals in the autism world understand what autism parents go through. I think that professionals tend to assume that autism parents can do more than they can. I think that they don't recognize that we don't get an off switch. Holy cow. Thank you for that gift. I don't get a lot of gifts on these lives, but it does mean a lot. It shows a lot of support, tells TikTok to keep sending it out. So I appreciate that. All right, you guys. Holy cow, and a crown. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Queen. I really appreciate that. I really do. All right, you guys. The news of the day. I saw a guy who was starting to trend on TikTok, and maybe you guys saw him. And I want to share the autism news of the day as introducing you to a new creator here who is inventing a new product that is greatly going to benefit autism families. Holy cow, Caitlin. Thank you so much. That really means the world. That really does. Okay, have you guys heard of this? The Water Watch. If you follow Jen Hamilton, is that her name? I think I saw it from her page. My wife shared it with me. Now, why do I care about this Water Watch that this guy's inventing? Do you know what the leading cause of unaliving is for autistic kids? What's the leading cause of unaliving? Yep. Drowning. Terrifies me, you guys. Not only is it the leading cause of unaliving, but autistic kids are 160 times more likely to drown than their neurotypical peer. 160 times, you guys. This is not something that we can just sit back and wait. I'm taking action. Okay, here's what I'm doing is my company in the state of Utah, I purchased a clinic that has an indoor swimming pool so that we can work on water safety as part of the kids' therapy. Why? Because I'm terrified about that statistic. And so we have kids who elope, they run away. And there does tend to be this draw and interest in water. There's actually research that shows that the sensory input that comes, Chris, thank you for the hand heart. The sensory input that comes from being underwater, it feels so good to have that consistent pressure from the water all across your body evenly that it can even compete with the child's desire to come up for air. That is documented. That is in the research. And so the news of the day is that we have a guy here. His name is Foristo. I'm going to put it in the chat. Let's see. Foristo is his name. I just put it in the chat there. I don't know if it lets me pin. It probably will. Let's see. Pin comment. That's the guy's username. And he's a young man who is inventing the Water Watch, which is a wearable drowning prevention alarm system. So if you're out on a walk near a canal with your child, you're able to put that watch on him, and it sends alerts if it gets submerged in water. Fascinating stuff, you guys. I think it's good to support that kind of cause. Good for him. Good for him for creating something. Good for Jen Hamilton for promoting it. Beautiful. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and continue on with these questions, you guys. You guys can go and check his stuff out and see. But just make sure you come back. And if you're not following me, make sure you follow so you can find me when you come back after you go check him out. I just became an RBT. What's the most important thing I need to know? Okay, if you're an RBT, if you're a registered behavior technician, you have 40 hours of training under your belt. And I need to tell you, it's not enough. You don't know enough. And I'm not saying that to insult you. I'm sure you are incredible. But what I'm trying to do is instill in you this idea that you don't have enough education yet. You're doing the right thing, but you need to demand high quality supervision from the BCBA. So if supervision for you looks like the BCBA just sitting behind their screen and not talking or interacting with you, that is a failure of a supervision. They need to be teaching you, modeling, showing you how to do the intervention so that you feel supported and know what you're doing. Okay, other questions, you guys. Other questions. Let's go ahead and keep on answering some of these. Is it true people with autism are more likely to develop irrational fears? Oh, I actually don't have data on that. I'll have to look that one up. Jamie, thank you for asking that. I'm not sure. I've been an RBT for 6 years, and I've worked with kids for 10, and I still don't... Oh, man, Kitty, it's not letting me... And I still don't feel qualified. Oh, I'm sure you're qualified. I'm sure you're qualified. It is just good to get proper supervision. I love RBTs. RBTs are incredible, you guys. How hard is it to receive a diagnosis as an adult? So the hard thing is going to be finding a person who can diagnose you. And I'm working hard on figuring out a good way to recommend people to go to get that, because there's not enough people doing those diagnoses. All right, you guys. I'm autistic, and I have a test tomorrow, and I want to get some tips on how I can get it. How you can do well with the test, maybe. Look, what you need to know is that if you have autism and you're taking a test, whether you're still in high school or you're in college, you can request accommodations. A lot of people with autism, they have a hard time focusing during tests. And so some accommodations can be that you get to take the test after hours. Maybe you get to go to a different room in the office where you can actually focus better. Maybe your time limits on the tests are removed. Those are all real accommodations that people can do. Is autism hereditary? Yes. Yes, autism is genetic, you guys. Autism is largely genetic, 80 to 90%. Now, as far as hereditary goes, technically, yes, it is hereditary because it's genetic. That doesn't mean that your parents, if you're autistic, that doesn't mean your parents are autistic. It can absolutely, it's polygenic, meaning multiple genes can impact you. And so you may have got a gene from your mom and a gene from your dad, and the way those interacted together may be why you are autistic. But alone, it doesn't impact autism. So it's complicated. It's a complex thing. It's not that we don't have data or we don't know, but it's just a complex polygenic diagnosis. Okay, let's go ahead and keep on answering some of these questions. I would be starting ABA with my 2-year-old. Is 15 hours a week the norm? So it really depends on what you're able to do. There are providers out there that really push 30 to 40 hours a week of therapy. And that can be good, especially if your child enjoys it. 15 hours a week is right there in the middle. For a 2-year-old, I honestly, for a 2-year-old, I would probably want a little bit more for my own 2-year-old. Because proper ABA is not just sitting at a desk. It's not boring for them. It's playing. And the more time that your child is there, the more opportunities they have to learn and grow. But don't only do ABA. You can look at occupational therapy and speech therapy, depending on the needs of your child. But it's also okay to ease into it. If they want to start at 5 hours a week, or if you do and you feel more comfortable with that and you want to build up, that works too. I'm a behavior technician and I do play-based therapy. Good. And good use of the language there, play-based therapy. It's important to understand some of this language. The lingo, if you're new to autism, or if you're an autism parent, there's a whole lingo around the autism world that takes a bit to adjust to and to learn. So one of those is play therapy. What does play therapy mean? A lot of people do ABA and they say, oh yeah, we do play therapy because they're playing in ABA. And play therapy is a very specific thing. Play therapy in the therapeutic world refers to mental health therapy that they do through play. So you might go talk to a therapist, but if they're doing it for a 7-year-old, they do it through play. That maybe they play a game of Uno and see how they react to losing, and then they can teach them in the moment. That is play therapy. But a lot of other interventions like occupational therapy, speech therapy, and ABA can be play-based. And that's just the lingo that we use. So just be aware of that as you're figuring out what services to do. When your child's diagnosed with autism, well, first I'll say if you're autistic and you're an adult, what services are available to you? Well, the number one resource for you is probably going to be mental health therapy by a therapist who understands autism. I'm just being honest with you. ABA therapy is not autism therapy. It helps people who are autistic. It could help anybody. ABA therapy, though, is just about how to teach a person skills. And it's not unique to autism. They do usually have some training in autism. But right now, insurance only pays for it for the autism diagnosis, which is interesting. But as an adult, if you're not trying to learn like really critical skills that, an 18-year-old RBT could come and teach you with the oversight of a clinician, it's not going to help you as an adult as much. As an adult, the mental health therapy to help anxiety and depression by someone informed with autism is going to be the best. For a child, if your child was just diagnosed, I talk about the autism journey in parts. Part one is you need to build your village. Before you stress and you think, oh my goodness, I need to change the diet, I need to do this therapies, I need to do the school stuff, I need to do everything all at once. I need you to pause and I need you to take care of yourself. You need a village. You can't do this alone. This is a lifelong thing. It's not something that gets resolved in a few months. So how you're doing it needs to be sustainable. You need a village. Step two, you need to get a diagnosis for your child. You need to get clarity. Step 3 is this exciting part of we get to build the care team. If your child is autistic, let's build a care team around the needs of your child. That care team, typically I recommend 4 therapies around for kids with autism. The first is ABA therapy, applied behavior analysis therapy for kids with autism. The second is speech therapy, occupational therapy, and then if they're conversational, mental health therapy. Now, if I'm talking too fast, go download my ebook. I break it all down. My whole thing, what I talk about on here, I'm not selling anything, but I'm sick of being sold to. I'll say that again, you guys. I don't sell you guys anything right now. Maybe someday. I told my wife she needs to make a children's book because she's really good at that stuff, and I'd promote it on here. Right now, I'm not selling anything, but I am sick of being sold to as an autism dad. I'm sick of being told that I'm not doing enough. I'm sick of people telling me all the different tests and diets and things that are promising cures, giving false hope and not evidence-based, costing me my time, stealing my money, and making me feel guilt that I don't need to fill. And so this platform really is to address that. This platform was made so that I could come on here and I could talk to everybody about if you have an autistic kid or if you're autistic, these are the real things you need to focus on right now. And let me protect you from some of the other fear-based sales tactics that are out there. All right. What's the ebook about? It breaks down the 5 parts of the autism journey. And so you could listen on here. You don't need to download it, but it's free to download. I don't sell it. It's just a free thing. All right, you guys. This is really great. Let's see. Hey, Brooklyn, if you're still on, my wife, I'm hearing crying upstairs. Do I need to turn this off? Let me know, Brooklyn. I'll turn this off in a heartbeat and come up there. But maybe he's just having a hard time. Just let me know, Brooklyn. What I'm sick of is people trying to guilt trip us into believing we are bad people when we just see through their BS. Yeah. I am not a fan of people talking as though people with autism are the problem. Society's the problem. We don't need to cure autism. We don't need to go and there's not a cure. It's not something to be cured. It is a neurodevelopmental difference. But the world needs to be cured of intolerance. The world needs to be cured to be more accepting and loving of autism. What do you think about autism and homelessness? What do you think about autism and the police? Oh, fascinating questions. Autism and homelessness. I need to read up more on autism and homelessness. I'm sure that the autistic people are at much higher rates of homelessness, of anything like that. But I just don't have data on that. As far as police goes, I'm really excited about some of the progress a lot of states are having, where they are passing laws right now requiring training about autism to police. In the state of Utah, every single police vehicle, from my understanding, every single police vehicle has been equipped with a sensory bag to be able to be used if they're working with a child with autism. I talk about the advocacy stuff I do. I'll tell you one of the cool things I did last year. I went and met with a local police department in American Fork, Utah, and I helped put on a drill where there was a hypothetical situation with a man with a pew in a building, and that building was one that had people with disabilities inside. And so I trained everyone how to address the police to where it could be real situations that they may encounter with autistic people. And so we did a drill of how they would handle autistic people confronting them. And it was fascinating to see because they were not equipped at all. There were a couple of them that were amazing, but there were many that the more that you don't comply, the louder they yell, and the less compliant the autistic person is. I work for a company that provides aided living for those with DID and autism. It's the greatest. I love it. So are you a DSP, direct support professional? I did that for a long time. It was great. Thoughts on the criticism of ABA? Yeah, I think they're valid. And I'm saying that as a BCBA who does ABA therapy. There are people that have been harmed from ABA therapy. Absolutely. And I don't think, I think it's improved, but I don't think it's totally a thing of the past. There's no doubt that ABA is effective. ABA changes behavior. You can reduce problem behaviors. You can teach replacement behaviors. You can improve skills. You can teach skills. But the question is, at what cost? And should you change that behavior? And so this overemphasis on compliance instead of autonomy is a problem. Saying that you have to do exactly as an adult says, that is a problem. The idea of, you can't stim, you have to mask, that is a problem. And so if you have a behavior analyst targeting those things, then you're teaching the wrong skill. And the hard thing is it's a powerful science. It works really well. But if you're addressing and you get someone to stop stimming, well, how are they going to regulate their body now? Why did you change that behavior and now give them no way of coping through the real challenges that come with autism? Do you think dogs help with autism? They can. There are actually trained service dogs for kids with autism. Now, don't get your hopes up because the grants that offer these are very long wait lists. And if you're going to pay out of pocket, I think it was like $50,000 or something to get a service animal like this that insurance doesn't usually cover. But service animals are different than emotional support animals. So service animals have to be trained in specific tasks. And so some ways that autistic people can benefit from service dogs are children who elope. You can bring the dog with you out in public and you can, I don't know the proper term here, but you can tether the child to the dog and let the dog be responsible for following you and ensuring that the child does not go into harm's way. There's also the therapeutic benefits of a service dog that can detect when a child is showing early signs of a meltdown and then go and do some sensory work with the child by, laying on top of that child to provide some deep pressure sensory input. Service dogs are incredible. There's also service dogs that can go and find a child if the child elopes. And so, these would be really cool to have. I would love it. But it's definitely not available to most people. Okay. Thoughts on quantum reflex integration laser for primitive reflexes for aggression. So the primitive reflexes stuff is not backed by very consistent research. It's not something that I recommend. It's not one of the 4 main therapies that I recommend to support people with autism. I don't recommend that is something at this point that you usually do, but you can talk to your pediatrician about it if you feel like it's a right fit. Usually the first 4 frontline therapies for autism include ABA therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and mental health therapy. Everyone has said to get my son an OT, and this was the only thing they suggested. Oh, interesting. Yeah. And I don't know where you live. If you're in the United States, there's definitely more services available to you than OT. But maybe they just noticed that your child really has high sensory needs. So occupational therapy, there are a few things that OT is incredible for. There's a lot that they're good at. There's also overlap between OT and ABA and speech for sure. OT, I recommend anytime a child has high sensory needs, that you want someone there to work with you on how to meet your child's sensory needs. OTs are incredible. OTs also tend to be trained in feeding therapy. And so if your child has rigid eating habits that you want them to expand on. Typically, OTs or speech therapists are the ones that are going to be helping with that. OT is occupational therapy. What do you recommend for aggressive behavior? Okay. Here is the interesting thing. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. So when you say, help me with aggressive behavior, I want to say yes, like, let's do it. Let's work on this. The problem is it's not based on what the behavior looks like. ABA or behavior analysis does not focus on, oh, it's aggressive behavior, and so you always do X, Y, and Z. The approach it takes instead is it says, hey, your child's aggressive. What are they getting from being aggressive? Are they doing it just because it feels good? Are they doing it because when they're not getting enough attention or to get your attention? Are they doing it to escape a task or to get access to something that they want, or any combination of these? And then you can say, hey, look, what skill can I teach this child to where if they can engage in that skill, they don't even need to become aggressive. For example, if your child becomes aggressive anytime you ask him to complete a task, well, the skill he needs to work on is how do you appropriately get out of a task? Teach your child how to say no. Teach your child how to advocate for themselves and say no. And that's a good starting place. That way you say, hey, go do this. And they say no. You say, okay, thank you for saying no. Thank you for advocating. And then you can work on tolerating. Okay. Very good questions, you guys. Let's keep on talking about these things. Sometimes aggressive kids on the spectrum are experiencing physical pain. They can't communicate. Guys, yes. I've shared this before on this live, but it's embarrassing. This is an embarrassing story. This is a failure of a parent, of me. I'm the parent here in this story. This happened 8 years ago. My son stopped eating. Now, he's not on the spectrum. He just stopped eating. And I was a behavior analyst, and I was like, oh, you know what? I could get him to eat. And I did. I got him to eat, and I'm like, I don't know why he started resisting to eat. Well, about a week into this, he broke out in a rash. And we took him to the pediatrician. Can anyone guess what had happened? Here's the info. My son stopped eating. I worked with him on it, and then he broke out in a rash about a week later. What could this be? What could this be? He was 2 years old, just under the age of 2. Oh, Mello might. Let's see. Mello might have it. We'll see. Aha! Mello has it, you guys. Mello has it. Mello guessed correctly. Mello, you knew. Okay, it was strep throat. And I took him to the doctor because he was covered in a rash. And the doctor said, yeah, strep throat left untreated turns into scarlet fever, where you break out in a rash. And when I heard that, I broke down because I had failed my child. My child, he couldn't tell me what was wrong. He never once told me his throat hurt. He was a 1-year-old. He didn't say that. He couldn't communicate that his throat hurt. But I jumped right in to fix the behavior before looking at what are the medical causes that may be impacting this. And that has really taught me to rule out anything medical before addressing any behavior. Please remember that. Don't be like me and wait until strep throat progresses to scarlet fever. Karma got me back, though. Last year, I was hospitalized from strep throat. That strep throat attacked my kidneys, and I went into kidney failure. A rare reaction that can happen from strep throat. And it was scary, so karma kind of got me back for it. But please just an example of me doing this right was my son with autism. He's almost 4. He can't communicate with us very well, and he has started mouthing things. Okay, this was about for a few weeks. He started putting everything in his mouth, especially clothes. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to address this behavior yet. It is soaking his clothes. We're having to change him multiple times. He's uncomfortable. We should address this. But first, I'm going to take him to the dentist. And I took him to the dentist. I held him down. They did all the x-rays and found that his mouth, his throat, everything looked perfectly fine. And so now we're able to address the behavior of mouthing, which we can do. So just guys, let that be the tip of the day. If you take anything from today's live stream, I think that's kind of the theme of today is whenever you ask, what do I do about this behavior? Always think, might there be a medical cause to this? Now, some things that are not a medical cause for most things is your child is not doing this because of the toxins in their brain. They're not doing this because they need to go through a rapid detox protocol or chelation therapy. That's not a thing that you need to worry about unless directed by a pediatrician. But most of the time, unless it's like this major heavy metal poisoning, that's not something you need to worry about. Yeah, thank you, Brooklyn. Not a leaky gut either. Their body is working properly. Their body is filtering out toxins. But you should be aware that autistic people do have more gut problems. That's not saying that their gut is causing their autism, but it is to say that, sometimes, especially with picky eaters, your gut is impacted. And, maybe the aggression is because your kid's constipated and they can't tell you. Okay. What about lying about sickness so they can go to the hospital? Okay, so now you're looking at the function of the behavior, right? So you're saying now the concern is that they're over complaining of concerns, and the purpose of that is to gain access to the hospital. And yeah, that's something you need to put a protocol in place for. You gotta figure out how do you help support them, and also make sure that they only report those that warrant a being addressed at the hospital. Okay, over on the YT platform. I want to ask if a lot of people with autism should have fidget toys when they go outside. Yeah, fidget toys are great. If they enjoy it, if it helps regulate them, that's great. Yeah, it's not something they have to do, but it's something if they enjoy doing it, absolutely. Any insight how to teach personal space? Not inappropriate, but he doesn't understand when someone doesn't like him close. Guys, this is a hallmark of autism. People say that the autistic kids don't enjoy socializing with others. They don't like other people. Is that true of your child? Does your child try to avoid people, or does he dislike people? And my experience is the vast majority of autistic kids are very social. And it's not a matter of not wanting to see anybody or talk to anybody. But it's a bigger social problem of one, it could be communication, but also understanding relationships. And so teaching those boundaries, it really depends. If you're trying to teach a 2-year-old that's a lot different than teaching a 10-year-old that's conversational about that. The older they are and the more conversational they are, the more you're able to actually break down these scenarios. And what I've put in place before with people is I've put scenario cards down of like, okay, let's say you're with a stranger that you just met at the store and they give you a compliment. What should you do? Should you shake their hand? Should you give them a hug? Or, just say bye, and talk about like the boundaries with each social situation. You got to understand, people with autism quite often report that what it feels like is that they're living life without the script. Everyone else is performing in a play. They have the script, but they were left out of that. They were left out of the dress rehearsal. They're not certain that how they're supposed to react in every situation. And the more that we can play through the different scenarios and teach them each specific situation, the better. But yeah, if they're very young, it's a little bit more complicated. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and answer some more questions. Okay, Lyle Boyd says, is there a correlation between neurodivergence and being LGBTQ? Yeah. People on the spectrum do tend to be at higher rates of LGBTQ. I don't have the data in front of me. I'll try to prepare that for next time, though. That's a good question, Lyle. Okay. Can autism stay undetected? Yeah, it can. And that does not mean it's a good thing, though. If you're an adult and you're wondering if you're autistic, there's a chance that you were missed as a kid. Okay, what's the difference between autism and Down syndrome? Okay, they're very different. Very, very different. Down syndrome is actually measured through genetic testing of the chromosomes. Autism is based on the behaviors. And so there's a set of criteria that a person who is on the spectrum, how they develop and what behaviors they may engage in to indicate that they're on the spectrum. There's not a single, test, a blood test or anything like that. All right. Okay, let me introduce myself, and then we'll bring some more guests up here. We'll actually talk to some people. So if you wanna come up and ask some questions, feel free to request up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn those settings on. While I do that, why don't we do kind of a reset here? I want to know. Maybe we'll do this. Let's do this. If you have a child on the spectrum, how old were they when they were diagnosed, and how old are they now? How old were they when they were diagnosed, and how old are they now? Give me both. Give me both of those, and then we'll start getting some guests up here and having some conversations. How old was your child when they were diagnosed? How old are they now? 5 and 18, 8 and 14. My son was, both of my kids that are diagnosed with autism were diagnosed at the age of 1. My almost 4-year-old, he was turning 2 the next day. So 4 and still 4, 3 and 10, 10 and 12, 1 and 2. Okay, yeah, we got people of all ages. Lexi, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good, Kylan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It was hard for me to get on live today. Stuff just kept coming up and up and up. Hard to break away from sometimes. So sorry.
Sometimes that happens, and we all live this life, so we understand.
Yeah. Someday I'll be way more consistent than I am. But for now, I think sometimes when I go later, it does bring in a different group, which can be good. So, all right. Ryan says, I saw a report about leucovorin and folinic acid. Can they help to reduce autism symptoms? Okay, so there are mixed studies on this. Leucovorin is not yet a recommended treatment for autism. It's still being researched. It's being investigated, but it is not. Not established. Slim, lots of people were diagnosed as an adult. I guess my specific question was about their kid. So let's do that now. If you were just diagnosed, or if you were diagnosed with autism, how old were you? Put it in the chat. Let's make sure that people don't feel left out here. If you were diagnosed with autism, how old were you when you were diagnosed? All right, 30, 42, 22, 42. All right, there we go. All right. Oh, Nick, good question. What do you think about the Spellers documentary? So it depends on which documentary you're referring to. There is the telepathy tapes, which is a podcast. I don't know that I would classify that as a documentary. I'd almost put that in the realm of fiction. But they tell just enough truth to make it not quite fiction. So, but spelling to communicate is a harmful therapy, harmful practice that steals the voice of autistic kids. Okay. And that is not the same thing as communication boards. Okay. I want to be very clear. I'm not, AAC devices, communication devices are incredible. But facilitated communication, when you have someone act kind of like a facilitator trying to interpret what you're saying, there's a lot of issues with that. Okay, let's bring up some people. If you have a question, go ahead and request up in the guest box. Is it letting people request up? Do you guys see the request button? You should see it there. Let me, here we go. Here we go. All right. If you want to request up and ask any questions, you are welcome to do that, and we will have some conversations here. Well, hi, Evelyn.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Where are you from?
Florida,
Awesome.
South Florida.
Very cool.
I was wondering, since they don't diagnose people with Asperger's anymore,
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct.
How would how would you know? I recently got diagnosed at age 30. Like, how would you know if you have Asperger's or just autism?
So what they found is that it's all on the same spectrum. So they didn't just stop diagnosing it. They clarified and said that it's all on the same spectrum. So what you're referring to is what level of support needs. So they probably mentioned in your diagnostic report. You said you just got diagnosed?
Yeah.
Okay. In the report, did it say a level on there?
Yeah, level 1.
Okay. So Asperger's and level 1 is kind of the same thing.
Okay.
And so, but levels, it's kind of meaningless.
More support, right? Like
Yeah,
how
level
much
one,
support you
level
need.
one means low support, that you don't need support day to day.
Right.
And yeah, but where it gets really tricky, and it's pretty clear, like level one can be pretty clear sometimes, especially adults who went their whole life without getting diagnosed. And then level three, or if it's more someone that's more profoundly impacted, that tends to be pretty clear. But it's this middle ground of people who, you know, have really high support needs in one domain, but not in another. And they don't really quite fit into one of the boxes. And so the levels, it's not the best system. But
Right.
yeah, well, how have things changed for you since you've been diagnosed? What benefits
I
have
sh-
you felt since being diagnosed?
well, now I use a lot more like fidgety toys, and now I can my therapist can kind of like tailor my therapy knowing my diagnosis now. But it
Yeah,
was a lot to process, and there's still times where I'm like, wait, am I really autistic? Like, I don't like it's like hard. I don't know why I battle with that a lot. And I've
yeah.
heard other people battle with that too, but I've gone my whole life not knowing, so it's like it's hard.
Yes, yes. No, that is very common. I've also heard people say that as they've been unmasking, they don't know who they
Yeah,
really are. Like
right.
who are you underneath the mask that you have put on your entire life? Have you experienced that at all?
Oh yeah, like but I feel so free.
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm just at the point that I don't care, like whatever, I'm just gonna be myself type of thing, which
Yes.
comes with, I think, the age 30 anyways.
I
So,
love it. I think that's wonderful. What advice would you give to someone who is considering uh, being evaluated themselves
um,
that may be listening right now?
I would say do it if you ever had the doubts. It doesn't hurt, and it can only help you.
Yeah.
And it also like just helped me realize why I struggle with depression, because a lot of it comes with like comorbidities,
Yeah.
like other mental illnesses, and the anxiety and depression kind of made sense a
Yeah.
little bit more. So it's just like finding out about yourself, and then you can use tools to better yourself.
Yeah. I love it. Evelyn, thank you so much for coming up and sharing that. You have a good one, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, bye. All right, you guys. Lexi is on here. If you guys aren't following her, be sure you're following Lexi. She's one of our moderators, and she helps us out here. She keeps us running. She's great. What does stimming mean? Stimming means stimulating. It comes from stimulating, and it refers to the practice of a repetitive behavior that helps regulate a person. And so, flapping their hands or spinning in a circle, it's things that feel good for the person doing it, and it's a repetitive motion, and it can be a healthy thing that a person does. Lexi, I didn't give you a chance to talk this last one. Anything else you would have added to Evelyn there? And maybe Lexi's busy right
That's
now.
okay. That's okay. I think everything that you said I kind of agree with. So yeah,
Cool.
I didn't have anything to add, so I didn't unmute.
Awesome. All right, you guys,
Thank you.
make sure that you are following me as well. If you get disconnected right now, are you going to be able to find my live again? If not, make sure that you hit the follow button so you can find us if you get disconnected here. All right, let's go ahead and bring up our next person. Let's bring up Danae. Danae Day. That is a solid name, Danae. I love that.
Danae is my middle name. My first name is Chastity, but
Is your last name Day?
yes, Daye. Yes.
I love that, Danae Day. That's so cool. Well, tell us a little bit. Where are you from? And then go ahead and jump into your question.
I'm from North Carolina.
North
I
Carolina.
have two autistic kids. I watch you a lot, but I never got on here. But I just decided just to get on here
Oh,
today.
thank
I
you for
have two
coming up.
autistic kids. My son his name is KD. He's 7. He's nonverbal. He's super very hyperactive. I don't know what level that is,
Yeah.
but he is like very severe. My daughter is 6. They are actually a day and a year apart.
Wow.
So she's 6, and she is the low level. Like, people ask me or tell me all the time, "Oh, she doesn't look autistic," and I don't know how that looks, but people say that all the time.
Yeah. I
And
hate that. She doesn't look
that's
autistic. I don't know why. That bothers me a
I
lot when
hate
people
that.
say.
I
yes,
hate when
I
people
hate
say
it.
they don't look autistic. I always answer with, what does autism look like? Because it's not Down syndrome. So what
Right,
does it look like?
Did you see that they made
right,
that autistic Barbie? And I think they did a good job with it because, like, yes, autistic people don't have a look, but they did accessorize her with things that autistic people sometimes have. And, I guess that could be a look, but yeah. I don't like that. She doesn't look autistic. Anyway, we cut
I
you off.
hate it.
Danae, what can we do for you?
It's
What's
fine.
your question for us?
I don't know if I have a question. I mean, I probably do. I have a lot of questions. I just really have a lot going on with my son. Not so my daughter. It's
Yeah.
really my son. I mean, I'm shaking talking to you right now, but I just want to say to anybody that's listening out there, and
Yeah.
if you are a parent of an autistic child, you can do this. Keep going. Like, it's hard. I said I wasn't gonna cry, but it's hard. I cry every day. And I know he doesn't understand. He was born like this, but
Yeah.
it's hard for him because he tried to tell me what he wants, and I don't know, and that's where a lot of the tantrums come in at. And we have a device through the speech, but he doesn't really care too much for it. So I've been taking little, like, not classes, but I've been like looking at little TikToks and YouTube university videos of like sign language.
Yeah.
We're starting to know he knows please, thank you, help, I love you. Like, we're starting. He's on his fourth school. He started in October of last year, and they just been experimenting on him. I feel like that. I
How's
think
your
the
support?
whatever school, whatever class he's in, the teacher feels like they're gonna conquer, quote unquote, conquer the autistic
Oh,
kid.
I hate
You
that.
know, and they just been bouncing him around from school to school to school. I'm having trouble with getting him a one-on-one. They say he has a one-on-one, but he really doesn't. They just moved him to a school
Uh-oh.
of special needs.
So
He's
like
number
his
9.
plan says he should have a one-on-one, but they're not
Yes,
doing it.
yes.
Oh
They
no.
have a teacher assistant. It's like 5. It's a
Uh-oh.
main teacher and like 4 teacher assistants in there, and they
Shoot.
just keep the teacher assistant with him, quote unquote. But every time he has an incident, I have to pick him up. It's hard. I
Wow.
mean, I didn't come on here to, just throw my problems out. I really come on here to tell other people, like, you can do this. I really don't have a question. I mean, I do, but I don't. But
Yeah.
this is the
Let me
norm
ask
for
you,
us.
I got a question for you, Danae. How's your support? Do you got family helping you out?
Not really,
You got a spouse?
because
Where?
I have a husband.
Wonderful.
He's not his biological father, but he's great. He
Yeah.
does great with him. His biological father is there somewhat. He gets him maybe once a month, but I
Okay.
really don't have support. If I die today, I don't know what would happen to my son or my daughter.
Yeah.
But I just came on here just to tell everybody, like, you can do it. I ask God all the time, like, why? Why did you give me not one, but 2? But, I just have to be strong.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really just came on here to encourage somebody else who may, because I always ask my husband, because I tell my husband, like, you don't have to be here. Like, I had them. I have to be here. But for you to be here and to help me and go, like, we clean up poop maybe twice a day. He will not poop in the toilet.
Yeah.
He won't poop nowhere. We went to the beach over the weekend, the Carolina beach. He didn't poop none. The minute we
Oh
came
my
home, he
gosh.
went straight to the bathroom, shut the door, and pooped. And now he's starting to smear it. Like, he pees in the toilet, but he will not do the number 2 in the toilet.
Yeah.
We're trying to
My
potty
son
train
does
him.
the poop smearing too. It's a lot. It's a
It's a
lot.
lot. Let me tell
Um.
you. When you have a severe, like, it's a difference when you have like in my daughter, my son, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So when you don't have when you have a child or a person that has a mild case, it's not. I can't say it's not as hard. I can't say that. But
Yeah.
in my
It's
in my
different
opinion,
challenge. There's
it's a
different
difference.
challenges,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it can be a lot more physically draining 24/7.
Yes. Yes.
If there's higher support needs, and
The T.
um,
Like, and I love my son to death. I
yeah,
wouldn't trade him for nothing in the world. But I do. I question a lot, and
yeah,
I feel like, I'm his parent. I'm his mother for a reason, and I just really just want to encourage other people. He does STEM a lot. We really don't take him out in public like that because he yelled and screamed. He eloped. He's been missing twice. So,
oh my
oh yeah,
gosh,
I want to give out information. If there's anybody out there that needs a GPS monitor, there's a program through your local sheriff's department. It's called Project Lifesaver, and I found
wow,
this out on TikTok because my son got missing last year for 45 minutes,
oh my
and we
gosh,
found them, and I was just looking up like ankle monitors, and I stumbled across a lady's. I can't think of the original video name, but I stumbled across her video, and I just looked it up. It's called Project Lifesaver. Not everybody locals,
yeah,
authorities do it, but if it do, that's something nice. They put on a GPS monitor for my son and my daughter, so if he ever gets missing, I just call 911, give them his name, let them know that he's on Project Lifesaver, and they have coordinates
oh
where they can
wow,
locate him exactly
Project
where he.
Lifesaver. I haven't heard of that one. I wonder, that's in Florida? You say
No, I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina? Okay,
Yes, but they it is in different states. I don't know what states. I'm in very good connections with the sheriff who does my county. I live in Catawba County in North.
yeah. You cut out there at the end, but thank you so much, Danae, for sharing that. Can you still hear us, Danae? Danae, it looks like we lost you. But I do wanna talk to you directly about some of the things that you shared with us. You are a good, not just a good mom. People call you a good mom because you know what, you don't have a choice. You, like you said, no one else is gonna do it. But you are a good human. You came up here in a time where you need the support, and what you had to say to other people was trying to lift up other people. And to me, that tells me you're not just a good mom. You are a good mom, but you are a good person. You're a good human. Thank you for being part of this village, and just know we're here with you. Lexi, was there anything else you had for her?
Yes, actually, I wanted to direct myself to Danae and let her know that we understand you, we hear you. We're all going through the same struggle as far as having children on the spectrum, and although our challenges may be a little bit different between our children. We
Yeah.
understand exactly how you feel. And you do not need to apologize for crying on this live. I've cried on this live about 10 times. I don't know how many.
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't count at this point. But honestly, it really does help to see that there is a community out there that supports you, and we support all parents of children on the spectrum, whether they're low support needs, high support needs. And if you ever feel like you don't have anybody, please feel free to join our Facebook page or our Discord page. They are linked in Kylan's Linktree, and that's 24-hour support. I don't guarantee that we'll always answer you immediately because sometimes we are sleeping, but there's a group of great people out there from this exact community, Kylan's community, and we will all make sure that you don't feel alone and that you have that support that you need. If
Absolutely.
you're on the Facebook, just make sure you answer all the questions because we do deny requests that don't answer all the questions on Facebook, but you can always request back after answering the questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Lexi. Danae says her phone died, and but Danae, sorry that you had to drop like that and that your phone died. I thank you for coming up and being open with that. Nicole, I sent you an invite, but you probably don't want to come up. That's okay. But that's probably the most disgusting thing I've ever heard someone say. Not something Nicole said, something that Nicole said someone told her. Nicole says, so today my neighbor told me God was punishing me with my son and that he's praying for me. Oh,
Nicole, do not believe that. That is a lie. I don't know how else to say that, but our children are not something that we're paying for or anything like that. They are a blessing that came into our lives to show us something different, something that we were missing. That's not okay for anybody to ever say anything like that to a neurodivergent
so
parent.
wrong. So wrong. It's also not something to pray away. It's not something that needs to be cured. It's not something that God needs to heal for you. God needs to heal the heart of your neighbor. To be more loving and accepting. Man, it's frustrating. Did you see what Brooklyn said? Let's toilet paper that neighbor's house. Who's coming with me?
I'm coming. I'll bring the eggs
We'll go with you.
and the mustard. We'll
my
put mustard on his car.
Okay, we got a lot of people in the guest box. Let's pick someone. I'm sorry, everyone. I know we're not going to get to everyone on here, but thank y'all for being willing to come up. Fifi, hello. Where are you from?
Hi, basically I'm from Somalia, but I live in Greece.
Wonderful. What can we do for you today, Fifi?
Basically, I am very confused about my son. I'm a very young mom. I'm 23 years old.
Yeah. How old is your
And
son?
the he's 3 years old. He's not talking.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him do what everyone is talking about, but he's not communicating. The only thing he says is mama because he had it from his little brother saying it.
Yeah.
It took him a while to even say that. He chooses who to keep eye contact with and who to be okay with. I think it has something to do with the trauma that we went through coming to Greece, as refugees crossing the ocean.
Yeah.
But it's so difficult that he cannot talk. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to take him to, because my situation puts me in a position whereby I have to figure it out for myself, by myself, alone in a foreign country with
Yeah.
2 young boys that I don't know how to raise with their father dead. Do you understand?
Oh my goodness.
Um,
That's terrible. Let me ask you this: does he respond when you say his name? Does he look at you?
sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he, when you point at something, will he look where you're pointing?
So that's why I'm confused. It's wishy. It's
Sometimes,
50-50
yeah.
all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, we can't diagnose your child on here, but it very well could be autism. I want to tell you about a free resource. So if you were in the United States, your child would be getting
Yeah.
probably about 30 hours a week of intensive therapy to
Yeah.
work with them on communication. And something that I do have, those working with the child have to go through a 40-hour training on helping. A lot of it is how to teach the kid to communicate, how to teach them new skills, and I have that training for free linked in my bio. You can go to free RBT training in my bio, and you can go through that so you can be that person for your child and learn all the ways that the experts teach to work with a child in that situation. Now, let me ask you this. Can you get your kid to copy you sometimes? Like if you clap your hands, can you get your kid to copy you sometimes, or does he not copy anything that you do?
The funny thing is, I could tell he's very smart, and that's why I say he has nothing. I haven't seen him do what all these beautiful ladies are saying.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I say, if you're happy and stamp your feet, he will stamp his
Okay.
feet.
Wonderful. Look, let me
But
tell you
then,
the number one indicator that your child will talk is that they can copy movements, like clap your hands and then they clap their hands. And if they're capable of doing that, then language will most likely come. It just takes time.
okay, I think that gives me so much hope. Like I
He'll,
said, I'm very young
yeah.
and I'm trying to learn,
And you've been
but
through some
sometimes it
traumatic
gets
things.
hard.
You're 23 years
Yeah.
old and you've been through a lifetime of trauma.
Thank you for understanding,
That's
and thank you for accepting me.
Fifi, you've been through a lot, and just know that you have a village here. You don't have to be in the United States to be part of this village. So just know you're part of this family. You're part of this group. And anytime that you need love and support, you guys, Fifi's been through a lot. Can we get a bunch of hearts in the chat for Fifi, please? Just know, Fifi, you got a group of people here loving you, supporting you. When you have questions about, you want us to teach you anything that we're learning for our kids and supporting you, we can help you with it. You're not alone, okay? We're here for you.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, all of you, so much. This
Absolutely.
gives me so much hope for both me and my children. And thank you for allowing me to be here and to at
Absolutely.
least get some things out of my chest.
Yeah.
It's like when I go to the park and I see my children his age and they're avoiding him because he's not talking or they think he's weird. It
Breaks
breaks
your
my
heart.
heart.
Yeah.
It does. And seeing some parents who wouldn't allow them to play with him breaks my heart more, because I know he's intelligent, he's capable, but I just don't know the means and I don't know how to help him sometimes.
You need autism is not something that you caused, Fifi. You need to know that you did not cause this in your child, and the world is not built for autistic kids. And so, I mean, we're all with you. We feel this 100%. You are in good company here, because the world does not accept our kids. And those looks, those stares in the grocery store, at the park, everywhere, trouble making friends. I mean, that is all the time. I know you're a young mom, but you're not alone. You do have us, and it's painful, but we're here for you. Lexi, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you have anything else for Fifi that you wanted to share, Lexi?
Yeah, Fifi, you're very young, like Kyla said, and you have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma in your lifetime, enough for everybody probably here. Um, and I just want to let you know that the fact that you're up here trying to figure out how to help your child and what could potentially be something that could impact your child's life is amazing. You're doing everything the way that you're supposed to be doing it. And I really hope that the RBT, the free RBT class that Kylan has in his bio can help you in the meantime, but before you get a diagnosis or anything like that, to help ease parenting. Parenting is hard on a like to parent a neurodivergent child. It's it, it's I'm sorry, a neurotypical child. It's 10 times harder to do it with a neurodivergent child, but you're not alone. We are all here for you. And feel free to join our support groups. They are amazing. We help each other out in different circumstances. And if you ever have a question, you can always feel free to either message me or take it onto Discord and message all of us, and we'll be happy to provide you some guidance as far as to maybe what helped us, and you could try different things. Don't feel alone. I know
Yeah.
you're in a whole new country by yourself with your children, but you have support here, and we love you very much and hope that you join us.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna finish off this by saying thank you, all of you, the ones in the comments, both of you. I appreciate all of you so much. And Lexi, I love you too. And thank you guys for making this world a better place, because I feel like I have so much energy for tomorrow and so much new ideas for him already tomorrow. And we're just gonna keep on going because we love him, and I have to support him because he's all I got and I'm all he's got, and we
Yeah.
will do this.
Fifi,
Thank you guys.
thank you, Fifi. That's means a lot, and thank you so much for coming up and being vulnerable and sharing your story. We're here with you. Have a good one, Fifi.
Have a good one.
Wonderful, you guys. Such a good person. Such a good person. We guys, if there's something that stands out to me is that when we talk to autism parents, it is such a unique live experience on TikTok. Usually all the TikTok lives that I usually see are so contentious. And I've been part of those lives before. But this live is different. Like, it is full of love and support and care, and we're just so quick to the moment she says that she needs help with something. We got everyone in the chat saying, "Hey, look, I can help." I saw Coco in the chat saying that Coco's a Somali clinician. I don't know what kind of clinician you are, Coco, but that is amazing. Thank you for bringing that up. Hopefully, you guys can connect. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for being part of this wonderful village. We do, like Lexi has pointed out, we have a Facebook group. We have a Discord chat. So whichever your preference is, you can go on there, be a part of this community of positivity, positive vibes only, long after we go live. We do go live on a daily basis, though. So we're coming to the end of our live stream today. Oh, Coco is a BCBA. Oh, my gosh, Coco. Yes, and you're Somali? Okay, yes. Coco, can you reach out to her? You should reach out, Coco, for sure. That's great. Okay, so look, we're coming to the end of our live stream, but let me just tell you a little bit. We go live every day around noon Eastern time, and so be sure that you're following so that you can see next time that we go live, and come ready to support each other. Usually the first half or so of the live is just me talking. It can get repetitive, I know, but it's good for us to learn and talk, and it brings in new people. And then I do like bringing people up and having this kind of support and this kind of conversation. Now, if you're excited to hear more conversations and more live streams that we've done, you can hop on over to YouTube. We do have all of our previous, probably around 100 previous ones. Oh, thank you, Coco. Thank you. 100 previous live streams that you can go on and watch. So thank you all for being here. Lexi, anything else you wanted to add to the group before we end for the day?
I just wanted to tell everybody happy Monday, happy start of the week. You got this. It's just day one.
Oh,
You
no.
gotta last
You
another
just remind
6
me
days.
it's not the
so-
weekend. What is this, Lexi?
No, it's not.
You had to ruin my day?
Sorry. I say it with love. And I will see all of you tomorrow, hopefully in this live. And if not, please go over to some of our support groups that Kylan has created. They are amazing, and definitely have a wonderful rest of your day, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you all. We'll talk to you later.